The following podcast contains scenes of graphic violence, abuse, and references from Ghostbusters. Viewers' discretion is advised. Also, I'm wearing a brand new sweater and a headache to record this episode. Hey guys, it's Koi from the future. That is about 12 hours after that I recorded the episode. So basically yesterday night, I had a very bad headache, as I told you guys before, still do. And I was very nauseous and I was puking left and right while recording the episode. So if I feel like I'm down in the spirits or I'm about to die, that's pretty much the truth. So brace up for that. And why I did this, because I like to subject myself to torture, and I had a commitment made that I'm going to put an episode every Wednesday. So in order to do that I had to record it. But enjoy. Hello, welcome to the 5th episode of In the Memory of the Goldfish, a podcast hosted by Koi, the half celestial with 11 souls, or in other words, me. This time I have a few things for me to tell you guys about. The first one being the validation episodes. I talked about this the last time too, but I did that in the end credits, and I think most of you do not listen to them. So here's it. So basically there's gonna be this thing called validation episode, in which you ought to, it's your solemn duty to send me your real life paranormal or true crime incidents. Ask me, do you want me to read whatever mail that you sent me verbatim? Or you want me to rewrite your incident, how I rewrite my stories in my own words, and present it in that way. So this would be released every, I believe, 28th of the month. No, let's make it 29th of the month, such that I don't have to do this in February. And yeah, so we're going to be doing this too. So start sending your stories at koi@madebynefix.com. Start sending your emails already. I'm pretty sure that you guys have a very happening life. The next pointer is that my Instagram page, if you do not follow it already, please follow it. It has memes and stuff from the podcast, and you would love to see more of me. It has a lot of my face, among other things. I believe that's about it for the announcements. Today in the podcast, we are going to have obviously the fishy news. A new segment which I've thought to include which is called Out of the Blue. It's a pun. I hope you guys figure it out. If you haven't, the entire podcast's a pun. My existence a pun. Yes. What else? Oh, obviously, yes, the story. The story is called Pick Me. And the third, fourth, I don't know. I've lost count of the parts which this podcast has anymore. So in the end, I'm going to tell you about what inspired me to write the story. Moving on to the first segment, that's the fishy news. All right. So the first one talks about Prince Phillip probing notorious UFO. Yeah, that's a word now. UFO encounters dubbed Britain's Roswell. So this has been reported in, where is it reported? The Daily Star. And it further says Prince Philip has been intrigued by UFOs for years and reportedly kept a map of sightings on the wall of the Buckingham Palace. I mean, no surprise that the Prince or the Duke of Edinburgh has been visited by the aliens. They all want to know what is the elixir of immortality that the Queen keeps on chugging on and living as long as she has been living. I love her. Don't hate me. I love her. Absolutely. She's a cutie patootie. So he basically asks a person who has been writing books on aliens and stuff to send him notes that he'll fancy it a lot. So one of the authors, John Hansen, said during the interview, I hope he said it during the interview, or whenever he just said, why shouldn't any sensible man have an interest in the phenomena that has baffled mankind for a millennia? Sounds like the title of a sex tape. And I mean, talking about aliens, I was thinking of this really cool concept. Adamaski, a proud American citizen, claims to have met a blonde-haired alien from Venus who took him on a tour of the solar system in her spaceship. I mean, this could be such a cool concept for a softcore porn video, or even perhaps a spin-off of Riverdale. They're basically the same thing. I mean, I'd love to see this. Moving on to the second piece of beautiful news that we have. Nashville bomber Anthony Quinn Warner hunted aliens and shape-shifting lizard people trying to take over the world. I mean, this is exactly what happens when you let your children watch too much Marvel movies. It is even believed that Warner, the perpetrator, thought he would be hailed a hero for bombing. I'm telling you, do not watch Marvel movies or any movies or anything else. Just listen to this podcast, because it is obviously never ever gonna inspire anybody to commit a crime or to kill themselves or torture their children or what else, or manifest a ghost by law of attraction. Like, this podcast can possibly not teach anybody right. I mean, cannot teach anything wrong to people. I'm sorry. That was a slight typo in my speech, I think. Anyway, further down the article, it has written, his motives remain unclear and officials have said it's, in quotations, too early for it to be discussed publicly. I mean, do you not think that the best way not to discuss something publicly is putting it on the fucking internet? I mean, somebody sends you nudes and they say don't share it with anybody. Learn from the police and put it on the internet, because that way you're not sharing it with anybody. This brings me to the last news for the day, which is kind of disappointing. A high court in India says there is not a sexual assault if there is no skin-to-skin contact. So this basically happened in the High Court of Bombay. I mean, this is how Trump walks free. No, he never groped anybody, never sexually harassed anybody, unless and until he figured out and put his two fingers inside somebody's dong, gong, pong, whatever you want to call it. It was not sexual misconduct, obviously. I mean, one fine day, I'm gonna kill somebody and wrap a condom around the bullet before shooting it to the person's head, and it will not be considered murdered because the bullet never really touched the person, did it? Protection. The bullet was protected. So no murder, no crime. I did not kill anybody. Guns with condoms, that's the thing the Russian mafia needs to make next. However, on a serious note, first let me make this clear. I am obviously not so smart to comment on what bureaucrats, what the judges, what all these amazing ass people do, sitting in their chairs, warming up eggs for God knows what. But what the actual fuck? I'm sorry for saying fuck so many times in this podcast, but in the introduction part only. But seriously, I mean, what is this? And the worst part is, it's not that one country does it or only two countries do it. It's each and every country, every third month or something, they just do something so idiotic, so stupid, so stupid, so stupid that I forgot to say stupid properly. And seriously. Anyway, so the new thing which I'm going to be introducing, that is basically the random things I'm going to be including around the podcast here, there, up, down. For example, the Coil Literature of episode 4, go listen to it. It's fun. It talks about real informative things. So today, in Out of the Sea, we're going to talk about the weather in Beijing, which is unusually or usually toxic, has low visibility and negative temperatures. I mean, it's the common Beijing thing. Why did I talk about China? Well, basically, I thought about South China Sea, and then I thought about Out of the Blue, and I was like, yay, China! Anyway, why I talked about Beijing in specific is because Bhutan, the neighbor of China, is one of the only countries in the entire freaking earth who have a negative carbon footprint or a negative carbon emission, whatever it's called, whatever the technical terms for it. And moreover, they celebrated the birthday of Prince, I'm going to butcher the name, Hime Namgyel Waganjuk, by planting 8,000, it's 108 and 30 tree saplings. I mean, what a beautiful country. I'm just a half celestial, a half god, and even my parents planted a little tree on my birthday. Not my birthday, when I was born. So yeah, so I'm almost a prince. Just shut up now. I'm like perfect in every sense of the word. Okay. Moving on to the story. So basically the story is called Pick Me, and the date I've given to it is 23rd September 1955. The time I've assigned to the said incident is 9:12 in the morning. Oh, talking about 9:12 in early mornings, there's somebody in Japan who started listening to the podcast. I believe it's 1% or 10 people. I have no idea. It just showed me a percentage of Japanese people listening to it, and I was like, oh my god, ah! Now that I've scared away all the Japanese people and most probably all human beings, I'm gonna finally start my story. So I'm gonna start reading now, obviously. The birds are chirping as if something new has happened around them today. Something so mysterious has happened that they need the whole world to know about it. I love the sarcasm in it. Why would do birds even say early in the morning? Okay, alright, it's morning, we know it. Shut up. They do this every day when the sun decides to I cannot speak properly today. They do this every day when the sun decides to show its face. They start chirping, and my family starts to move. My face is pressed in his chest. Ooh, I'm jealous. I need a chest to press my face in. He is wearing the purple night robe from the pockets of which he had mine. What? He's wearing the purple night robe from the pockets of which he made mine. Typo. His hands, covered in soft satin, lay placidly around me as if being possessive and knowing that what they own will never part as well. Clingy. He is moving slightly in the sheets. He moves the arm which rested over me as he turned the other way. Oh, why do I give like such a romantic touch to all of my stories? What's wrong with me? Like, so sensual. This woman he calls mother, as if she actually created him. And then who created him? I mean, I believe it's the thing that he sleeps with. They say no, like behind every person there's another person for success. So she walks in the room. She removes the rough linen which covered us both. In a swift gesture, she puts me aside and sits where I intended to. Kisses coy on his head. What a swine! How dare she push aside whatever this protagonist is? This is their everyday ceremony. His satin clothes, her rough hands, his soft head, her chapped lips, the sun shining bright, my agony and plight. Oh, that rhymes. I mean, obviously the thing has a lot of plight since it can rhyme. That also rhymed. Where is it? Yeah. He finally stands up, grabs my hand, opens the little trunk in the corner of his room which never gets the sunlight. He places me on the pile of his clothes. He picks up a little blue shirt and grey pants. For me, he chooses a light blue dress and a grey jacket. He removes his clothes. His back has mosquito marks. I don't know why they never hurt me. His legs are slender, but his stomach bulges out just a little. After this, he carefully removes my clothing, making sure none of my hair get tangled. He screams on the top of his lungs that he's going to the rillet. Rillet is a fancy way of saying river. I just did not want to write river or canal or whatever, just for the fun part of it. The waves and the splashes of the river are extraordinarily loud today. Maybe it was the rain which fell yesterday, which gave it the confidence to speak louder than the birds and the winds. How dare you, water, how dare you speak so loud? As he approached the rillet, the river or the canal, He hides behind a tree to check if there's anyone there. His black hair are being hovered upon by a tornado of mosquitoes. Those things are so irritating. Most of you people might not relate to it unless and until you live in like a place with a lot of mosquitoes. But whenever you go out, they start like hovering on your head and they give you the most attention you've ever had in your life. And you're like, at least something is giving me attention. So you just like make peace with it. He puts me on his shoulder and asks me if I see anything. Before I tell him what I saw, he started walking towards the water. Oh, this reminds me of me when I was younger. Before doing anything, like literally anything, I used to ask my mother, Mom, can I do this? Mom, can I watch the TV? And even when she said no, I was like, okay, sure, I'm still gonna watch it. Like, who cares about your opinion? My opinion matters, solidarity. So he starts to walk towards the water. He squats down, puts me inches beside him. He sits on the sand and gravel and touches his toes in the water. He crawls, his bottom scraping the gravel. He submerges himself up to his waist, balancing himself very carefully on the rounded rocks. He reaches out to grab me, and the water waves, some gurgling. Okay, reaches out to grab me and touches my face. But suddenly, that touch makes my eyes look up to the clear blue sky. I heard water splashes and water waves, some gurgling, chirps of bird, gurgling, waves, birds, waves, birds, waves, birds, screams. That awfully sounds like somebody's heartbeat, like thug, 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 scream. Anyway, continuing with the story. The lady at the house came running. I heard her crying to the gods, to the water to give something back to her. I heard the other boy at the house speaking now. He was talking about the things who came to collect him, to take him someplace. I wanted to ask him, did he also see the other boy who was waiting for Koi? However, I needed Koi to move. I needed him to understand and say out what was going on in my hollow shell. Where is that child? I like how entitled this doll is. In case you've not realized it so far, the first person scenario is that of a doll's, because I think I had to explain it to you. I'm not sure why I do not mean to question your intellect in any shape or form. I do not mean to offend you by saying that I know I have offended you and it's fun to offend you. So suit yourself. The sun was saying its farewell. It was as if my existence no longer mattered here. It was at this time when the birds finally quiet down that the older boy found me. He grabbed me, put me on the top of a tree. The wind was touching me. I didn't feel cold. What I saw was the boy of the bank was now on the shoulders of the boy of the house. The sun came out and went. I couldn't keep count of them all. Then the older boy came one day with his mother. The boy of the river still on his shoulders, as if he made his home on his body. This day he came. In his hand he had chosen another thing like me. Hi, it said in a shrill voice when our eyes met. I had no idea that I could speak like this. Yes, we can speak like this. Everyone can. I did not know what was happening. I wanted to go back to wearing the purple satin night robe. I mean, this is stuff out of nightmares that you are sitting and somebody new can absolutely listen to all of your thoughts. You obviously want to wear a purple satin night robe and go back to sleep. Ever so often, the older boy comes back with another thing he picks up. There is less gravel and more of my kin here. They talk endlessly, they don't stop. I hear them at all times, they hear me at all times. There are more children on the shoulder of the older boy. His eyes are sunken as if he's shrunken. So much rhyming. I wish to tell him that he must get inside to go into the river and find Koi. Where's Koi? If he does not wish to find him, to drop off the children which cover him. Sometimes I feel the river boy is Koi, but he never says hello. It cannot be my Koi. I want the noises to stop. Yeah, this is the end of it. The child drowned and died. Just the common fun things, Anyway, the reality behind the story and like what made me write this is basically south of Mexico City, between the canals of, I'm gonna butcher the word, Xochimilco, Xochimilco. My Spanish professor is so gonna hate me. You will find a small island called Isla de las Munecas, or the Island of Dolls. So, as it says that this is like the Island of Dolls is a popular tourist attraction in a way. Like, tourists are idiots. They are attracted to all sorts of idiotic shit around the world. Anyway, in 1950, Don Julian Santana Barrera found a drowned girl near the, like, he struggled to find a girl who was drowning. I'm not very sure, because like the accounts differ from place to place. Some people say that he tried to save a girl, but he was not able to save her and she died. Some say that he just found a dead body of a girl near his small island. So this happened in 1950 and he saw this girl. After, I believe, a week, he found a floating doll which he thought belonged to the girl, and he hung it up as homage for her. But then like, he told people about this, but some people thought that he was demential and was hallucinating things, so a lot of people did not really believe him. Then so this happened. So he kept on collecting dolls from all over the places and started to hang them all around the island. So if you like, just simply Google Island of Dolls, you'll see these amazingly horrifying pictures of the place with like dolls hanging left, right, up, down, everywhere. Most of them are like disfigured because of the sun, because of the rain, the harsh weathers, and it's absolutely horrific and horrifying. Like, so this happened, and like the weirder part of all this is that in 2001, when Julian passed away, his body was discovered drowned in the canal, in the exact place he said that he had seen the little girl die. And like, now tourists themselves bring their own dolls to pay tribute to people and to like honor both Julian and the girl who most probably died there. Moreover, the canal on its own is actually pretty haunted, and it has its own history. Like, it was a pretty violent spot during the Mexican Revolution. The cities were burnt totally, and the bodies of people left behind were thrown into the canals. And like, the locals say that the entire canal has like a lot of manifestation of energy, and that the island of Dolls or other small settlements throughout the canal, they basically are holding all that negative energy of the war, and sometimes ends up getting manifested as paranormal occurrences. Even when they were cleaning the canal, they found skeletons on skeletons during that time. Talking about the island itself, it is pretty haunted in many senses of the word. The simpler things being that the dolls, they move like in weird ways. Like, they say only an eye moves or only one arm moves. Like, they keep on moving here and there. There's a doll which like, none of these dolls really have batteries or sockets or any kind of power anymore, and there's there's a specific doll which cries randomly. I'm getting goosebumps while talking about this. I'm not sure why. Talking about goosebumps, I also saw one little clipping of an episode from Ghostbusters today about this. And first, those goons decided to take Harold the doll with them to the islands of dolls, which already have very haunted dolls, and take the most haunted doll, which does not even burn, to there. Like, it's like washing your car in the rain or something. I do not know. But like those people, they do talk in this like amazing horror, scary voice. And Zach Bagans, gosh, that guy is so innovating and turns me on at the same time. I do not know how that works as well. So this little clipping that I saw on YouTube of this, so they're doing the like random jazz, what they keep on doing. And somebody says something, and this doll, supposedly with no power, no kind of battery or anything, starts to laugh. Oh god, like those guys did overreact a lot, so I mean it did turn me off, but it was fun to see them like doing all that crap. So there's that's the true inspiration behind the story. The podcast is hosted by Koi On Air, co-produced with Nifix. The music is by Lil Addy, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter by Koi On Air. And my email address, as I stated before, is koi@madebynifix.com. And yeah, that's it. See ya later.